to Old School Amplifiers. Today's video features the MTX Thunder 280 from the mid-90s. The Thunder is rated 40 watts per channel into a 4 ohm load, 80 watts per channel into a 2 ohm load, and dynamically bridged mono into a 4 ohm load, 280 watts at 14.4 volts. The amp features RCA inputs, also high-level inputs, and 80 Hz low-pass switch. There are two knobs, a gain knob on the left and the Thunder EQ knob on the right, which provides a boost of 18 dB at 40 Hz. On the other side, there is a fuse of 30 amps, a power LED, connectors for battery plus ground and remote, and the speaker connectors. If you want to run the amplifier in bridge mode, connect right negative and left positive. This video isn't just a dyno test, it is a combination of dyno, repair, because the amp fails a 1 ohm per channel dyno test, but was finally successful after the repair.
The MTX Thunder 280 is connected to the dummy load. I start with a 4 ohm per channel continuous power test with a 1 kHz input signal, and both channels are loaded. (52.8 volts). The amplifier delivers 89 watts into a 4 ohm load per channel, both channels driven. Let's have a look at the voltage drop when the amplifier has to put out some power. And the voltage drops to 14.48 volts. 20.9 amps. I'll calculate an efficiency of 58.8%. Next continuous power test with a 50 Hz input signal. There we get clipping. 51.2 volts. With a 50 Hz input signal, the amplifier puts out 84 watts into a 4 ohm load per channel, both channels driven. I checked for dynamic headroom by driving one cycle of 1 kHz into the amplifier, but we will not reach a higher voltage unclipped of 52.8 volts. That means we don't have dynamic headroom. Next test is 2 ohms per channel. I connected a 4 ohm mono load to the amplifier, so I have both channels driven into full power into 2 ohms. Continuous power test 1 kHz. I got 48.4 volts. 150 watts into a 2 ohm load per channel, both channels driven. The voltage drops to 14.44 volts. 37.2 amps. I calculated an efficiency of 55.8%. Continuous power test, 50 Hz input signal. I got a peak voltage of 46.4 volts, 138 watts into a 2 ohm load per channel, both channels driven. Now checking for dynamic power. Catch the burst. All cycles at the same voltage level. I always check out the last one. If it's clip free, let's say we calculate with 50 volts. That's not much dynamic headroom. The amplifier delivers 160 watts into a 2 ohm load per channel, both channels driven. Let's check out if the amplifier likes 2 ohms mono. Two 1 ohm resistors connected in series, bridged mono to the amplifier to test the power into a 1 ohm load per channel. I start with 1 kHz continuous power. Wow, yeah. I guess the fuse popped off. The fuse is intact, so I guess there's something wrong with the power supply section. I don't believe that there are some damaged output transistors. I opened up the amplifier and the power supply section is these two transistors here. Here are rectifiers. These are the output transistors, also these two guys here, and I guess they are okay. So I take my probes and test them. If you hear a long beep, you have a dead short. If you have a short beep, the device is okay. If you hear no beep, then the device is open, also not good. I switched on my multimeter and put it in diode check. First check the output transistors, but I guess they are fine. So I take my black probe on the center leg because they are N-channel types. One short beep means okay. Also okay. Okay. Also okay. 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 Also okay. I have two rectifiers. If you hear a long beep and then the beep stops, it's okay. It's charging. And it's charging. Okay. Also no short here. I try to zoom some more to the main board. There's one toasted resistor here. It's a gate resistor, so I guess that these guys are damaged. I checked them out. Short. Short. I'm going to unscrew this, but I will first show you the toasted resistor. I don't know if you can see it in this case. It's burnt, so it may be out of tolerance, open or something. These are gate resistors, these two guys here. Unscrew this plate of the power supply transistors. These are MOSFETs. And what do I have here? That's funny. It seems that somebody was working on this amplifier before, because I have two different types of power supply transistors. Maybe this is the reason the amplifier failed into 1 ohm per channel. The amp is not rated into 1 ohm per channel, but I know from different tests that the amplifier will cut down power if it doesn't like it. Dynamically, it was never a problem to test the amplifier's 2 ohms mono. Here I have my new parts, 2 MOSFETs and 2 gate resistors. And now I'm going to cut off the legs. Goodbye, sir. Have a nice day. New components inside. And now let's try the amplifier a second time. MTX Thunder 280 on the ampdyno. After 1 ohm per channel test, if the power supply section is stable, the internal fuse should pop and not the power supply section. So I apply remote and hope the amplifier will not go up in smoke. LED is on, I switch off the light, clearly on. And now I'm going to check the idle current. The amplifier is idling at 0.5 amps, that's okay. So we can start the next dyno test, 1 ohm per channel, 2 ohms bridged mono. Usually if you do a continuous power test under the rated impedance of an amplifier, the internal fuse will blow if tested with resistive load into a 1 ohm load per channel, both channels driven. As I said before, 1 kHz into a 1 ohm load per channel, both channels driven. We have our signal, amplifier is working, that's nice. That means the repair was okay. I hope the amplifier will be stable. I will
increase slowly. What kind of voltage will we get?
Here we can see it, the internal fuse blew. That's what an amplifier should do. So the power supply is now stable. I will reinstall a new fuse, and if the amplifier is still working, everything is fine and the repair was successful. Reconnecting the amplifier to the remote, and I hope the amplifier will power up fine, and if it does, everything is okay. Damn, I forgot to reduce my input signal. If I check the voltage correctly, the moment the fuse popped, we had 40 volts of peak voltage on the scope. That means the amplifier puts out 200 watts into a 1 ohm load per channel, both channels driven. Let's try the burst power dynamic test. 1 kilohertz, 20 cycles. There's our burst. Catch 1. And I always check if all are at the same voltage level, and that's the case. And then I take the last cycle to check out if it's clip free, and that's the case. So it shows 44.8 volts. That's not true. We have some distortion there. I go back to the clean point. Let's calculate with 42.8 volts. The amplifier puts out 458 watts dynamically into a 2 ohm mono load. That means it delivers 229 watts into a 1 ohm load per channel, both channels driven. We can take this and we have 45.2 volts for just 1 millisecond and a slightly clipped negative waveform. The amplifier puts out 255 watts into a 1 ohm load per channel, both channels driven, but just for 1 millisecond. Just for fun and demonstration of maximum peak output power.
Thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye bye.